do have Congressman Nick Langworthy joining us now. Nick, I reached out to you just a couple of minutes ago. I really appreciate you joining us on such short notice and also this late at night, but there is an emergency going on. So you've worked with 3407 families for the better part of the past several years. Give us your first reaction to this tragedy tonight, Nick.
Well, this is heartbreaking, what's happened in Washington tonight, and it looks entirely avoidable. This mid-air collision is inexplicable, and investigations will undoubtedly begin right away. But, first off, my thoughts and prayers are with all of the victims tonight, the people on the aircrafts, their families, the first responders that are trying to rescue people, and there's some promising, reports out there that there may be some survivors, but our prayers are out there for the best possible outcome. But, for people here in Western New York, I mean, this is this brings back a lot of memories. Yeah. And I was there that night in 2009 on the ground within an hour or two, and it's just a heartbreaking situation.
I'm feeling for if there are any families from Flight 3407 who are watching tonight and had to see this on our air, obviously gut-wrenching for any of those folks out there. Tell me about those families that you have gone to Washington with, you have fought for those 1,500 hours with. What have you guys fought for so that something like this didn't ever happen again? And it hasn't happened since 2009.
It hasn't happened. In tonight's accident isn't because of pilot error on the commercial side of things. This is a helicopter that ran into a commercial aircraft. I mean, this is why it's entirely unavoidable. But those families took a tragedy and a heartbreaking loss, and they band together and they fought for real change, and they changed those flight standards, which were substandard for regional aircraft, like the one that was landing there. It flies under an American Airlines banner, but that's a regional carrier that's coming in there, and they fought for the standards that have given us the longest period of aviation safety in the history of the world. We've got the highest standards in the world, and we've had the safest skies in the world, and we haven't had a crash since 2009. Now, unfortunately, that streak is broken tonight, and the work of the aviation or the 3407 families, and then after we were able to preserve the standards that they had fought for, even though some in Congress wanted those things to be gutted. We started the Aviation Safety Caucus, which is a bipartisan caucus of members of Congress to fight for greater standards. And this caucus will, get to work and review this along with the Transportation Committee and our new Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, who ironically was sworn in today, to get the answers as to how this happens. How does a military aircraft fly into the side of a commercial aircraft that's coming in for landing at one of the busiest airports in the country? But those families are in Buffalo and that were a part of the 3407 tragedy. I mean, they're getting really unfortunate flashbacks tonight. And I think of those families that are there to pick up a loved one as they were awaiting them to get the text that they had landed safely. And, it's a lot to process. And our hearts and our prayers need to go out to those people affected by this tonight. Because, this is Wichita, Kansas. It's a small town. It's like Buffalo, New York. I mean, middle America, and people may be coming in for the weekend for Washington and tourism. And this is a sad tragedy. It's a sad day in our country.
Congressman Nick Langworthy, again, thank you so much for joining us with such short notice at this hour and with this emergency going on in Washington. We'll be in touch over the next 24 or so hours. We appreciate it, Nick.
Thank you, Congressman.